don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm not like you. I come from Great Britain, which, I wouldn't say is great. It's alright Britain. It used to be pretty good though, back when it owned half the world and all the oceans in between. Now though, not so much. But that doesn't mean we can't still be blamed for everything wrong in the world, as Vice is here to show us with how Britain exported homophobia. Jesus.
Britain did so many awful things during its empire, it's hard to know where to start.
Starting isn't the problem, love. It's getting you to stop that's going to be the real issue. And why are you wearing your jeans like Simon Cowell? You worried something's going to fall out?
But if you want an example of something that's still ruining lives today,
I do not. Literally no one asked for that.
It'll be hard to think of a better example than the British Penal Code.
Penal.
Also known as Section 377.
Yes, the criminalisation of all sexual acts, and I quote, against the order of nature, which I take as don't stick your dick in a primate, because that's how we get AIDS. And that's fair enough, because in late 2019, someone made sweet, sweet love to a bat, and well, here we are.
This homophobic law is the reason why being gay is still illegal in at least 30 former British colonies.
Just gonna stop you there. What was that word you used then? Former, wasn't it? As in no longer a British colony. Sounds like they have their own agency to me, but I guess blaming a foreign country for their own laws would be construed as some form of bigotry. So it's best to go way back to 1860 and start pointing fingers.
Empires of Dirt.
Empires of Dirt. Trent Reznor is gonna sue. I'm sure you all thought that was a great title, like, ooh, history bad. Until you realise our whole planet is named after dirt. So let's skip this intro and get straight to the meat and potatoes.
When the British were busy colonising the world between the 16th and 19th centuries,
Hold on. What's your name again? Zing? Alright.
they also exported their own laws to the places they took over. It was kind of like the rest of the world were school kids who had to play by their rules.
That is the worst analogy. Are you truly comparing conquering large parts of the world to school kids? I mean, the Roman Empire made it cool long before Britain did. You don't hear anyone chatting shit about Julius Caesar, do you? Why do the Romans always get a free pass?
One of the laws they exported was the charmingly named Buggery Act of 1533.
Well, at least when you hear it, you know exactly what it's about. That's called efficiency.
Which was passed by Parliament during the reign of Henry VIII. You know, the one with the 6 wives.
It's a shame, isn't it? The guy fought wars against the French, the Scots, the Gaelic lords of Ireland, enemies in the Netherlands, and took on the Catholic Church, bringing about the Protestant Reformation, but now he's known as the one with 6 wives. Poor bastard.
The Buggery Act did pretty much what it said on the tin. It banned male homosexuality and made gay sex punishable by death.
Except it also included doing a woman up the bum. In fact, the word buggery also included oral sex, and of course our old friend bestiality. So basically, it meant any sexual act that was non-procreative, aka putting your dick where it wouldn't normally go.
But it didn't bother to ban lesbianism, probably because nobody really thought about women at the time.
Haha! Zing!
When the British Empire got going, the authorities were keen to enforce their idea of morality on the people they'd colonized.
You mean just like any country that's ever conquered any territory? Shocker!
They also wanted to make sure that its soldiers and administrators weren't tempted to shag each other or their new subjects, so they imported this anti-buggery law overseas.
Again, I think it was more a case of, now you're under our rule, you follow our law. I don't think King Henry was sat there being a fat bastard when his advisor walked in going, Your Majesty, you know that new territory? Well, I just got reports. It's a sea of sodomy. And old Henry was like, oh, god damn it. All right, export the buggery law. Make sure they keep their fingers to themselves.
Homosexuality was finally decriminalised in England and Wales in 1967.
Ooh, so close. Don't get me wrong, looking back on these laws through the modern lens, yeah, a bit unfair, and I'm more than glad they've been abolished. But guys, could you not have waited 2 more years?
But not before the UK had done some extremely uncool stuff, like force war heroes like Alan Turing to undergo chemical castration or throw people in jail simply for being gay.
Not that it's any better, but Turing chose to undergo chemical castration rather than go to prison. Just saying, if you're gonna whine about the past, then whine about about it correctly.
But although gay sex stopped being illegal in the rest of the UK by 1982, the laws that forbid homosexuality are still in the penal codes of many of our former colonies.
Again with the former, Zing. Unless you're suggesting they're making a shit show of running their own country and would be better off if they were under British rule again.
It's the reason why LGBTQ people in countries like Barbados, Pakistan, Guyana, Kenya, Ghana, and Singapore, where I'm from,
No, really? No.
still don't have equality today. Many of Britain's former colonies don't have histories of being hateful towards LGBTQ people.
Don't they though? Because every country that's still around today has a long history of violence. The people that were purely peaceful, weirdly, got wiped out.
Basotho women in present-day Lesotho, Africa, still engage in socially accepted relationships with each other. They call each other their motswale, or special friend.
Well, that explains why they're such a globally dominating power.
MWANGA II, the 19th century king of what is now modern-day Uganda, had sex with men.
So, was he a king or a queen? And when you're a ruling monarch, you can bang pretty much whoever you want, can't you?
Until white missionaries brought Christianity to his kingdom, and everyone changed their minds about their gay king.
Oh, so the people decided they weren't up for it, did they? And you can blame that on white Christians if you please, but Islamic missionaries would have told them the same thing.
Britain literally exported hatred and homophobia to the countries it colonized.
It's a bit of a bold statement, that, isn't it? Out of the entirety of world history, you gave us only 2 examples. One being a tiny landlocked country, and the other being some dude. Yet you're claiming the whole planet was united under the rainbow before the evil Brits replaced it with the Union flag. It's a very bold statement.
It's not like these laws just gather dust on the statute books.
In Britain, yeah, it's exactly like that, actually.
They continue to be used against LGBTQ people to this day.
God, you've got a gut on you, Zing. It's like you got a second ass at the front. I'm telling you, girl, those jeans are not for you.
Between 2010 and 2014, almost 600 people were prosecuted under Kenya's anti-gay laws, according to official government figures.
Well, sounds like Kenya's fault to me. Blame them.
In 2010, 2 gay men were sentenced to 14 years hard labor in Malawi after being convicted of gross indecency and unnatural acts.
Yes, Malawi, that country situated between England and Wales.
They attracted the attention of the authorities after holding an engagement party. When the judge passed the sentence, he said he wanted to protect the public from people like you.
Yeah, it's really harsh and shouldn't have happened. Still nothing to do with Britain, though.
In August 2018, 20 men were charged with illicit behavior after a raid on a gay club in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Malaysia? You've cited Africa and Southeast Asia being shit to their gays and pointed your finger at the island that resides on the other side of the planet. Zing, we're not in charge anymore. Keep up.
Uganda still actively persecutes gay people to this day. In November 2019, police raided an LGBTQ bar in Kampala,
Almost like they're not all that big on human rights, isn't it?
dragging out at least 120 people and arresting them and throwing them into the backs of vehicles.
Well, at least they weren't executing them on the spot. Every cloud, eh?
Because institutional homophobia runs deep in so many former colonies, some countries have chosen to keep these regressive laws in their penal codes.
Yes, chosen, which means it was their choice. This is all very sad, Zing, but you can't blame it on Britain. The moment you bring up a story of a gay bar in Worcestershire upon Tyne getting raided, I'll gladly capitulate to your claims. But until then, no dice, home slice.
In March 2020,
Oh my god, we get it!
despite the best efforts of LGBTQ activists, a court in Singapore ruled in favor of keeping homosexuality illegal.
Well then, aren't you glad you don't live there anymore, Zing?
Jamaica was once known as the most homophobic country on earth, with gay people being lynched by angry mobs into the 21st century.
I am constantly amazed at your ability to blame white people for the actions of black and Asian people. It is truly impressive.
These days, we've mainly left it up to LGBTQ campaigners to sort out the trouble that the UK left behind.
The UK they can change their laws whenever they want. If a vegan comes to your house and doesn't let anyone eat meat, what do you do the moment they leave? You don't keep chewing on broccoli, do you? No, you cook up some steak and punch a cow in the face.
Would these countries be such difficult places for queer people if it wasn't for the British?
The real question is, do these countries have the ability to come up with their own laws? I mean, do you think these people can't think for themselves because that's how you're coming across?
Even former Prime Minister Theresa May
Boo!
doesn't think so. In 2018, she said she deeply regrets the role that the UK had to play in introducing these anti-gay laws to its former colonies.
Oh, well, if Theresa May said it, then job done, right? That's all the proof you need.
It's a nice gesture, although extremely belated.
Yeah, maybe if she'd have expressed her regret sooner, then some people wouldn't have been arrested on the other side of the goddamn world.
But saying sorry doesn't mean anything to the people who've had to live in fear and hiding, all because of their sexual orientation.
Or because of the laws in their country which their government have decided to keep. I mean, it's not like homophobia was a brand spanking new idea, Zing. Like, as soon as Britain colonised Malaysia, they all went, oh, homophobic laws, that's amazing! We would never have thought of that.
Some sins you just can't apologise away.
Right, so are you saying the UK should take back the colonies and impose our laws on them? Because at the beginning of the video, that was a bad thing. What do you want, Zing? What's the solution here? For countries to make their own laws because, surprise, they are. So maybe blame them. Yeah? Well, there we go. Say what you want about Britain, but at least we don't imprison people for their sexuality. Anymore. And to anyone out there who regularly persecutes gay people, I just want you to know you are appropriating Jamaican culture. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider becoming a patron to bail my ass out of horny jail. And check out my Twitch channel where I play games and shout at the cutscenes. The links are in the description, and remember, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. If he has sex with that fish, that's his fault, not yours.